Shabbat Shalom. Happy Sabbath. Another Sabbath session. Today we're going to look at this book here by Hannah Adams. A book from the early 19th century. Yeah, the year is 1818. I believe a lot of us were still slaves around that time. Okay. The History of the Jews from the Destruction of Jerusalem to the Present Time by Hannah Adams. Hannah Adams. We're going to look at page 317. Page 317. Chapter 23 in Roman numerals. I think that's how you say that. XXIII. Chapter 23, History of the Jews, page 317. Okay, now look what it says here about Ethiopia. Of the Jews in Ethiopia, the conformity which subsists between their religion and that of the Christians in that country, of the Phalasha in Abyssinia. Phalasha, that's a tribe of Jews, of black Jews in Africa. Okay, in Abyssinia, of the Jews in Egypt and other parts of Africa, other parts of Africa. See, this is telling you that the Jews are living in other parts of Africa, of their state in Morocco. Okay, tyrannical conduct of the emperors of that kingdom. They are numerous at Fez, and several learned Jews have appeared among them. The Jews have enjoyed more tranquility, more peace. The Jews have enjoyed more tranquility in Ethiopia than in most other countries, on account of the conformity which subsisted between their religion and customs and those of the Christian inhabitants, who are circumcised, abstain from swine's flesh, and observe Saturday for their Sabbath. They are circumcised, abstain from swine's flesh, and observe Saturday for their Sabbath. Their kings boast of having descended from the Jewish monarchs, and bear for their arms a lion holding a cross with this motto, the Lion of Judah has conquered. The Jewish hierarchy is still retained by the Phalasha in Abyssinia, who claim their descent from a colony of Jews in the time of Solomon. So you got a bunch of black Jews, the Phalashas in Ethiopia, which anybody can Google and look up and see that these people are black. These people are saying that they descend from a colony of Jews from the time of Solomon. About the Christian era, they elected one Phineas to be their king, and from him their present sovereigns pretend to be lineally descended. This family is called by the Abyssinians Ben Israel, or son of Israel, to distinguish them from the house of Solomon, from whom the sovereigns of the country derive their origin. About the year 960, assuming AD, the Phalasha attempted to seize the throne of Abyssinia, and the wars with the nation were long and distressing. At last, they were so weakened as to be obliged to leave the flat country of Dembea and retire to the craggy mountains of Salmon or Shaman. I'm not sure if I'm saying this correctly. Where they maintained their independence, their capital is still called the Jews' Rock. Again, this is a tribe of black people over there in Ethiopia, calling their capital the Jews' Rock. Black people. In 1600, they were reduced to the brink of ruin. Okay, you shall come down very low. Deuteronomy 28. The prophecy says that your enemies will be get up above you very high, and you will fall down. You will come down very low. See that? We're having a lot of trouble. Whatever country we go to, we're having trouble. Okay? In the 1600 again, they were reduced. You shall come down very low. Deuteronomy 28, to the brink of ruin. And Gideon and Judith, their king and queen, were both slain in battle. Since that time, they have paid taxes to the state, but are allowed to enjoy their own government. When Mr. Bruce was there in about 1771, they were estimated to amount to 100,000 effective men. Their king and queen were then called Gideon and Judith, and these names seem to be preferred for the royal family. According to the accounts of the Falasha, their sovereigns are of the tribe of Judah. According to the accounts of the Falasha, their sovereigns are of the tribe of Judah. Their Old Testament is in the Ge'ez language, written by Abyssinian Christians and sold to them. No dispute has ever existed about the text of scriptures. They have no table of various readings, no Talmud, no Targum or Kabbalah. See that? They don't partake in the fake imposters' writings. This book, the Talmud, is full of sick teachings about molesting little kids. So the Falasha are wise to be like, well, we're not messing with that. We're not messing with that. They're wise, of course, because they are our people. Okay? They have no table of various readings, no Talmud, no Targum, or Kabbalah, no fringes or ribbons upon their garments, nor any scribe. They have lost their Hebrew, just like us, just like our people in the Western Hemisphere, speaking French, Creole, English, Spanish, etc., etc. Okay? You will discontinue from your heritage. Jeremiah 17. And only speak the language their ancestors learned in the country where they settled. They acknowledge candidly that they have no Hebrew nor Samaritan copies, and that they trust wholly to the translation. They say the prophecy of Enoch is the first book of scripture they ever received, after which they placed the book of Job. They maintain that the scepter has never departed from Judah. The scepter has never departed from Judah, and apply the page 319, and apply the prophecy of the gathering of the Gentiles to the future appearance of the Messiah. The Falasha have no knowledge of the New Testament, but from conversation, they imagine it very absurd to suppose the Messiah is already come, who they appear to think is to be a temporal prince, prophet, priest, and conqueror. The Jewish law is in full effect among this people, and all the Levitical observances, purifications, atonements, abstinences, and sacrifices. See, they're still following the law of Moses over there. The Jews for many ages have found an asylum in Egypt. They were, however, in 1524, near the precipice of destruction. Ahmed, governor of Egypt, having revolted against Solomon II, at the commencement of this rebellion, the soldiers plundered their houses, and Ahmed imposed a tax upon them of 200 talents. They, however, pleaded insolvency and paid only 15 talents into the treasury. The governor, exasperated at this refusal, commanded all the Israelites in the kingdom to be arrested and imprisoned. No matter where we go. Isn't this what's happening in America also? Black men fill up the prisons in America. We're at the top of the incarceration list of people that are locked up in prison. Black folks, African Americans. See that? Even over there, it was the same thing around that time. Locked up and in prison. This order was annulled by a conspiracy against Ahmed, in consequence of which he was put to death. The Jews celebrate a feast in memory of their deliverance. The liberty which these people have since enjoyed in Egypt has rendered them numerous and powerful, particularly at Cairo in Egypt, where they possess 30 synagogues. And if you go over there in Egypt, there's an island called, what's the name of that island? Elephantine Island. It's full of people that look just like me, just like us black folks, Haitians, Jamaicans, African Americans. See, it tells you right here that the Jews went to live in Egypt. And you have a whole island over there of people that look like us. And what does Prophet Isaiah say? Prophet Isaiah says in Isaiah 11:11 that in the latter days the God's people would be gathered or recovered from the islands of the sea. You have an island in Egypt called Elephantine Island where our people dwell. But we're not the people, though. We don't know what we're talking about. We're not the people. They have long farmed all the customs in that city and have acquired influence and reputation by this employment. The Basha of Cairo every 2 years lets out the custom house for, let's go to the next page, for the benefit of the grand seigneur. He adjudges it to the best bidder, and it commonly falls to the lot of the Jews, because they have the art of gaining his favor either by presents or intrigues. The greater part of the Jews in Cairo are Pharisees or Talmudists. See, now the Jews in Phalasha didn't partake in this Talmud nonsense, but the Phalasha Jews don't want to deal with the Talmud, but the Jews in Egypt, okay, believe in this Talmud nonsense, unfortunately. Just like you see today, you have some of our people that are Muslims, some that are Catholic, some that are Buddhist, okay, following all these different nonsensical religions that have nothing to do with us. Broken cisterns, like Prophet Jeremiah says, the people have hewn for themselves broken cisterns that cannot hold any water. That's what those religions are, broken cisterns, broken vessels that cannot hold any water. Okay, there are, however, a number of Karaites who have a synagogue of their own. One proof of the consequence which the Hebrew nation enjoy under the aristocracy of Cairo is that the offices of customs are shut upon their Sabbath. See, they shut down their business on the Sabbath day. But the preachers today following going church on Sunday, they know better than these people, right? They know better. They shut down their business upon the Sabbath, and no goods can pass upon that day. No goods can pass. This is Nehemiah. They're following the same thing the prophet Nehemiah was doing in Nehemiah chapter 13, where he was telling the people not to come sell on the Sabbath day, not to enter the gates with fish and goods and victuals. See? But our people today in the Western Hemisphere, in America, in the Caribbean, they know better with their Sunday, right? Look how our people continue observing the Sabbath day. Even in the 17th and 18th century. Look at that. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, they shut down upon the Sabbath day, and no goods can pass upon that day, although belonging to Mahometans. That's another word for Muslims. That's where you get this word comes from Muhammad. So Mahometans is an ancient word for Muslims and Christians. The Jews are also numerous in other parts of Africa. Let me read that again. The Jews are also numerous in other parts of Africa. right? Ghana, Nigeria, Central Africa, places like the Congo. Huh? The Jews are also numerous in other parts of Africa and are the principal traders in the inland provinces. Some of them were so affluent that Muley Archie, king of Taphilit, by seizing the property of a rich Jew, see, everybody's always trying to rob us, right? Everybody's always trying to take stuff from us. Just like all the good gold was stolen from Haiti, was thereby enabled to achieve the conquest of the province of Kiriana, and to dispossess his brother of the kingdom of Morocco and Fez. I guess that's it for today. But yeah, this is all talking about the Jews in Falasha in Africa. The Falashas are a black tribe over there in Ethiopia. Even to this day, you could go over there, see them wearing their white garments, observing the Sabbath, keeping the law of the Most High. Black people, just like Haitians, Jamaicans, and African Americans. But we're not the Jews, though. We don't know what we're talking about. This is a book written in the early 18th century by a white woman. I guess she was crazy too, right? She didn't know what she was talking about? Yeah, Hannah Adams, that's her name. It's a fancy word for explanation. The explanation of the scriptures. Okay? The Jews and explanation of the scriptures. Exegesis. Since they so maliciously revile our faith. Yes. You see, we disdained their Christianity because we knew even with Rome, Constantine, John Chrysostom, there was a lot of false teachings in Christianity. It's pagan. If this should move any Jew to reform and repent, meaning what? Leave your Judaism and join Christianity. That's what they're saying right here. So much the better. We are now not talking with the Jews, but about the Jews and their dealings, so that our Germans, yep, I knew it, he is a German, so that our Germans too might be informed. There is one thing about which they boast and pride themselves beyond measure, and that is their descent from the foremost people on earth, Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, Rebecca, Jacob, and from the 12 patriarchs, or the 12 sons of Jacob, and thus from the holy people of Israel. St. Paul, the Apostle Paul, himself admits this when he says in Romans 9:5, "Prorum patres," I believe this is Latin, "Prorum patres," that is, to them belong the patriarchs, and of their race. People don't like it when we talk about race today, but unfortunately, I mean, I'm here to tell you that yes, of our race is the Christ. From our black race is the Christ, the Messiah. So meaning what? The Messiah, Jesus, the one they call Jesus today, was a black man, etc. In Christ, the Messiah himself declares in John 4:22, salvation is from the Jews. Therefore, they boast of being the noblest, yes, the only noble people on earth. And this is the problem with our people. And even today you see that a lot of us are very boastful. And I believe that was also used against us, because Prophet Jeremiah, when he was speaking to the people, Prophet Jeremiah kept telling us, do not be proud. Amend your ways and your doing. Stop being proud. And you see right here, even this man observed our arrogance in Europe, because we were boasting that we descended from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Rebecca, boasting. And the Most High does not like that. Somebody who is boastful, always praising themselves. You got to be humble. Therefore, they boast of being the noblest, yes, the only noble people on the earth. In comparison with them in their eyes, we Gentiles, Goyim. So notice what he said right here, we Gentiles. Now this is a white man that I showed you on the cover saying we Gentiles, Goyim, saying we. He didn't say the Gentiles, he didn't say them, the other Gentiles. He said we, meaning what? He includes himself. On the cover of the book, Martin Luther is a white man. Now you gotta think, you gotta put two and two together, use critical thinking. So now you have a white preacher in the 15th century calling himself a Gentile, a Goyim. If he's white, he's calling himself, what does that say about the white Jews that we know today? That means they are Goyim too. You see? That's why Daniel said that I, Daniel, understood by books. Daniel chapter 9. So you have a white man calling himself in the 15th century a Goyim, a Goy, I should say. He himself calling all the European people like himself Goyim. Meaning what? The Jews had to be a different race. Do you see that? You got to use critical thinking. Cross-examination of the scriptures and history. With when you take the time to really reason and reflect on these things, you'll understand that even these books expose the lies of those fake Jews today. This is a white man. This is a white man saying we Gentiles, we. He's including himself. So that means the Jews had to be a different race. The opposite of white is black. I hope that makes sense. Okay?
The Bible is the book that's going to destroy your world. Yeah.
Let's read. I'm going to read the third stanza that nobody reads. No refuge could save the hireling and slaves from the terrors of flight or the gloom of the grave.
Deuteronomy 30. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the utmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers,